So each week I like to set myself 5 or 10 goals that I really want to complete them. Last week it was to do more video. This week is to improve the prompt or the AI analysis of your sessions. So what I've been doing is I've been feeding junk sessions that I've been doing, or good sessions, into the AI, and then looking at how the analysis analyzes the sessions. So I've been doing sessions where the consistency is really good, and other sessions where it simulated me getting tired if I haven't hit the desired power, speed, or heart rate. So you can see here on consistent runs, what I've done is I've got a good score. When I first started doing this scoring system, what happened was I went out and in my head I did a good run. I looked at the data, yeah, I smashed it, that was an easy run. But what happened was I got a B. I was like, yeah, that wasn't a B, that was an A. So I had to recalibrate the AI in the back end. I did a cycling session that was 6 minutes at 275 watts and then 1 minute at like 350 watts. And then I missed the final effort, so it was like do that 3 or 4 times. And what happens was the AI didn't pick up on that final rep. So then now I've added in a back-end prompt to identify if reps have been missed, to analyse the differences between the peaks and the troughs, to look at the consistency of the power and the heart rate, to then give much more tailored response. So I was also noticing that the AI was making a couple of mistakes. It was getting like heart rate wrong, or it was saying that 152 was greater than 174 beats per minute, which was wrong. And I was like, oh God, you can't have this. If you're getting an AI analysis, it has to be the best I can possibly do. So I've now upgraded the Gemini again. So it's super expensive. It's ridiculous compared to the previous one. But hopefully you'll notice that the analysis is much better. It will be miles better. So Google's obviously one of the biggest companies in the world, and this is their #1 AI. So it's like the best AI you can get. It's amazing. It reasons better, communicates better. I think it analyzes the data better. It's used by a lot of like software engineers to do coding and like deep reasoning to understand data and trends and lots of text. So hopefully this should improve. I've also just been tinkering with the text. So the output text now has got a lot more detail in terms of like, did it recognize that you did the session too hard? Was it too easy? Did you miss your target? So what it does is then completely customizes the feedback based on your session. So no response is the same. 2 different people are the same. Everyone's got a different background. Everyone's got a different performance questionnaire. And what it does is it customizes the output based on the result. So I really can't stress enough the importance of really taking your time to read through the analysis, understand what it's saying, and then trying to implement some of the changes on your next run to get a better grade. So you've seen I've done a letter grading system, which is from A star to D. So if you do a session, execute it, look at your grading, and then do the session again, learn from the lessons, you should get a better grade. This way it's just like continual improvement, continual like dopamine, feeling happy, feeling positive, making big improvements to your training. But the absolute key for these training sessions is just consistency. Lots of easy running. If you're going to do a hard session, make sure you're really optimizing your time that you're spent at this high intensity. If it's too hard, maybe back off next time. One of the lessons that I learned this week from my training was that I wasn't actually taking enough recovery in between the hard sessions. So I did an LT1, so it's like a medium intensity run, but my heart rate wasn't dropping between the sessions. So I think it was 5 by 8 minutes at 160 to 165 beats per minute. And I didn't get a good grade. This is because my pace dropped significantly because I wasn't taking enough recovery between the 8-minute sessions. So what I did was I learned from this. I took more recovery, I got my heart rate down, and then the next time I did a session, I got a much better grade. The quality improved. It was so much better. So some other changes, I've tried to make the text easier to read. So if you're doing laps, say you're doing, I don't know, a 10-minute effort, and you break that 10-minute section down into 2 5-minutes, and you press lap after 5 minutes, lap after the next 5 minutes at 10 minutes. What it does is it just combines those 2 5 minutes together and turns it into a 10-minute like explanation, rather than going around the houses like I'm doing now and saying lap 2, lap 3. It's just basically easy to read. I want to make it super simple. So we're also about to push some other small updates. So there'll be a little notification bar when your session's imported. There'll be the red circle that appears on the app when your session's imported. There'll be a new tag on the session as well. It just makes it a little bit easier. I've also added in a little loading screen because I didn't like the fact that it didn't kind of tell you what you were doing. And I've really tried to emphasize to people the importance of filling out the performance questionnaire. So the performance questionnaire is absolutely critical to improving your training. Like, say what you want. What are your goals? I have had feedback that it's a little bit too complicated for your beginner, so I'm rewording it. I'm making it slightly easier to understand. I'm also adding in a lot more boxes that's to do with, like, what's your pace, what's your race, what's your PB, what you're aiming for. So it should be a little bit easier to use. I do think it's a little bit hardcore at the moment. So we've also got this new Coach Me function. So if you've got a coach, or maybe you are a coach, and you want to see all of your athletes' data and all of their sessions, so in order to use the Coach Me function, what you need to do is you need to have the app, and then the other person needs to have the app. You go into settings, you go to the Coach Me function, and then you add in the other person's email address. They'll then get a notification email, there'll be a pop-up within the app, and then you have to give them permission to view your data. So by allowing this Coach Me, what it does is it basically grants permission for your coach or your athlete to then share the data between each other. It should be quite cool. I'm really excited. It's something that I want to improve, and there's already some other changes I want to make as well, so that you can kind of understand a little bit more about the person's session. So when the athlete types in what their session was, it saves that input. I know this is quite basic stuff, but we're really learning as we learn. I'm going to improve the graphs because I don't think the graphs are that user-friendly. In fact, a lot of them are broken. So that should also make it much easier to use as well. So if you're watching this video now, you should also have some other updates. So the roast me function has improved a lot. So it's a lot funnier. It's way less structured. I've also improved the ask a follow-up question. So this should be much more direct to the question that you ask. So once you get your analysis, if you want to ask a follow-up question, just go down into the follow-up question box at the bottom and type it in and press send. I really need useful feedback. I really need feedback that's like, oh, this was useful, this was unhelpful, this was wrong, I like this, maybe do a little bit less of this. If you see the graphs aren't working, or if your activity didn't pull in, then it'd be amazing if you just let me know. And there's a feedback box, which is on the home page. If you just type in there if there's some issue, you can also click on the thumbs up, thumbs down, and that way I can kind of see all the feedback and I can work on it. So I had some feedback last night from someone, it must be in the Southern Hemisphere because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're saying they want to add in more graphs into the Garmin AI text analysis. So that's something that I'm doing. I'm going to improve how it displays your watts for cycling. I'm also going to put in maybe a few more emojis because I think this works really well in ChatGPT. So thank you so much for watching these videos. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment underneath. If you're using the app, please get in contact, and I'll see you in the next one.